Today I want to talk about burnout as a professional photographer, which can take many different shapes. It could be physical burnout, it could be creative burnout, it could be mental burnout. I've dealt to some degree with all of these things where I have felt physically run down, I have felt like I've lost why I even do this in the first place. I've lost my creative drive. I've stopped even caring about photography as an art form. Mentally, it's like the constant work it requires to freelance. It can feel like you're always in survival mode, at least when you're building your career. It took me a long time to get out of that phase of my career, to be honest. But now I am in what I consider my late career, and I think things just kind of come easier. I'll talk more about that in a different video, but I want to talk about how I've dealt with burnout specifically. So I want to start with this. There was a month in 2024 where this is not for me to brag about how much I made. It's for me to give you an idea of how hard I worked. But I basically made in 1 month what I used to make in an entire year. In fact, I made more in that month than I probably made in my first 3 years as a photographer combined. I was so overworked that this was May and it continued a bit into June, but in May I think I went 25 days straight shooting. I had 17-hour days. Some of those days I'm in Los Angeles, and a few of those days I had to drive to Orange County and beyond. And after that, coming into June, with it a little bit less busy, but still busy, I felt like I physiologically had not recovered. It wasn't until August, when I took a vacation and had 2 weeks off, that I finally physiologically reset. That's how demanding the job can be. So I can talk about first how you deal with that. How do you deal with just being really busy? And the reality of that is you gotta hire people. But there's a difficulty with hiring people. If you hire people, you have to continue to pay them, or you have to find people that are just willing to take work as it comes, which can be a bit tough, finding people that are yeah, when you have work, just give it to me. Ideally, you can regularly give work to people, but the reality is I've had a few years where I was above my limit, but I was always hesitant to hire anyone because I didn't know what would happen the following year. For example, from 2021 actually, 2021 to 2022, I doubled my income from photography. Not hard because the pandemic. But after that, I experienced a tremendous amount of growth, and I was doing year over year, I was making 56% more than I had previously. I finally figured out the business side of this, which you need to do. You cannot just be a great photographer and expect to succeed. So for a few years, I was just constantly feeling overwhelmed. I could not handle the workload, but I was scared to hire anyone because I'm well, what about next year? And in the end, I did find a balance where I've instead got really good at managing my energy when it came to work. And also the pacing just kind of slowed down. I think it's 2026 right now. 2025 was a great year, but it slowed down a little bit. And 2026 is a bit slow, but I'm still doing well, but it's slower, and that's to be expected. I feel like I've meandered a bit, but to sum it up, hiring is the solution, but it can be hard. If you're gonna hire and you're strapped for cash, look into hiring someone in a different country. That's totally an option. I've experimented with it. I never found the right fit, but that is an option. Instead of paying someone $30 an hour to help you with your editing in the Philippines, you can hire someone for $4 or whatever, $6 per hour. That's an option for you. I don't currently do it. I do all my own editing. I've gotten really good at it, but that's another video. Okay, let's talk about physical burnout. I actually made a video on this because it's something I definitely experienced, where I was just so worn down from photography physically. I realized some people that watch this channel know how much, well, maybe you don't know how much, but I'm very physically active. am passionate about movement. I've made a video on how I move as a photographer. I have been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for like 23 years. I climb now. I've had a dog. I have a dog. I had another dog previously. My best friend Brixton, who has been in my videos. And it's all taken a toll on me physically. And what helped a lot from my early career to my mid-career is like getting to know my own body, being more aware of my own body and more in control, more in tune with it. Whereas in my early 20s, I actually experienced more pain in some ways carrying around all my gear, my cameras, than I did later on. But later on, something else happened. Even though I got better at like my posture, how I moved my body, etc., just I was doing too much and everything added up. And so having a yoga practice helped me a lot. That really got me over the hump of like where I could start to feel like I was recovering physically, getting the right shoes, not wearing Converse, that kind of thing. So you have to take care of yourself physically outside of photography to counteract all the physical damage it is doing. I'm not in focus. There we go. Okay, let's talk about creative burnout. But to talk about that, I want to first talk about why I even became a professional photographer. I didn't become a professional photographer because I thought that was a glamorous, incredible job, like the dream job for me. I became one because I love photography passionately. I wanted to create art with photography. And I equally hated every job I ever had. I got my first job at 16. I never stopped working. I hated every single one of them. It's not for me. I'm not meant to be confined in an office. And I thought about it early on. After college, I said to myself, do I fathom a reality where I am in the office 9 hours a day and then I'm off and I'm gonna create? And I realized the answer was no. And so what I did is I chose professional photography and thought, well, this way I'd be closer to my love. But what happened is it actually made me kind of fall out of it as an art form. I started to associate my camera with work, and so I never wanted to touch it. And for years, that's what I did. Eventually, I put my foot down and I started doing creative projects. I did my series I did with Brixton. I did a big series of jiu-jitsu practitioners, which you guys can probably find if you're interested, or I'll link it below. And then I got really into street photography, which was a perfect fit for me because that's what I love. I love people. I find people fascinating. And street photography is event photography on the street, is how I see it, and vice versa. There are differences, but in the end of the day, you're doing something very similar with a very similar skill set. And I found that really counteracted a lot of like the creative drain of being a photographer professionally. But also, in creating for myself, I no longer believed that I had this subconscious belief that I think a lot of photographers share. And that's that your professional work is your art. And it absolutely is not your art. Your professional work is your professional work. And the minute I divided those two things and acknowledged that they were different, things went so well for me because I didn't take things personal. I still give it my all. I love what I do, but no longer did it feel personal in a negative way. I could detach from the work and just focus on the client and the product and how I run my business, et cetera, et cetera. It's the greatest thing I think I've done as a professional photographer is like coming from an artistic background is separating that. Okay, another thing though, little more tip-oriented, is if you feel burnt out on the work itself, I strongly recommend you experiment on the job, experiment a bit. Bring a weird lens you wouldn't normally use. Throw on a vintage manually focused lens. Shoot some fisheye stuff. Shoot a roll of film. I think there is space at an event to play around for 20 minutes or so, but don't do anything that would kind of, what's the expression, but, short your client. You don't want to do that to them. I'm not going to show up and like, hey, I'm here to shoot your event, and to make it interesting, I'm going to use like a 20-year-old digital point and shoot. No, but like play around, have fun, do interesting things. It will keep things exciting. Now, practice what I preach. I did do this, but I'm no longer doing it too much because the last few years have been really focused on more like financial security, building the life I really want, and I've dedicated myself to that a bit more. But I think I'm getting ready to like have some fun again. I'm gonna start experimenting a bit. If you're interested in some of the things I've done or ideas I have, hit me up. We can talk about it. Okay, the last bit that I do want to talk about would be something I dealt with more early career. And that is understanding that you have to turn it off. Like you can't think about this all day, every day. Find your breaks. Early career, I would go until like 12 a.m., 2 a.m., and I would still be thinking about work. But it gets to a point like you're not going to solve anything. Even if you're like, how am I going to pay rent? You're not solving how to pay rent at 1 or 2 a.m. most likely. So you have to have office hours. You have to have hours you like devote to your work. You know, sometimes like there's been periods I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and I'm working until about 6 p.m. and those are productive hours, not just like in front of my computer. But by then I cut it off. Other ways I get breaks would be my hobbies. You know, I love to climb, I love jujitsu, and those, partly why I love it so much is because when I'm there, I'm not thinking about anything in the world. And as they say about jujitsu, it's hard to think about anything else when someone's trying to choke you or break your arm. And I would say the same goes for climbing. When you're up on a rock, like you don't have the luxury of stressing out about other things. All right, that's it for now. Please like, subscribe, support the channel. Check out my Patreon page. You can join it for free. I'm gonna post my ideas for videos there first and then record them so you can kind of get a sneak peek, give me feedback, ask questions, etc. Thanks for watching.